Back, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm joined here with two distinguished guests, and when I say distinguished, and they're making waves in the fight against gender-based violence. First, we have Dr. Nicola Bird, Director of Integrated Health Outreach, a champion for public health and social reform. Alongside her is Mr. Jamie Saunders, the Director of Gender Affairs, and his unwavering commitment to equality and empowerment has made a tangible impact in our communities, and together they are here. Pivotal forces behind the IHO-GBV coalition and its groundbreaking initiatives, including the upcoming Men and Women United 2025 Stop Gender-Based Violence Walk. I'm looking out for that. We're going to hear more about this. So we're going to find out more about this. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having us.
Listen, I'm ready to get into this right now because what inspired this coalition? What inspired this togetherness? What inspired y'all to come together to just decide, look, let's team up and fight gender-based violence? Let's start with you, Dr. Bird.
The list is so long, I don't even know where to start or what inspired me, but so many wonderful things. So, well, I'll start personally, actually. You know, I was once my first marriage, which was very short, ended because of domestic violence. And so I know personally what it's like to be stuck, to be scared, to be threatened. And after you leave, it's even worse sometimes for women, and it certainly was for me after I left, because then I was harassed and stalked and my life was threatened. So it's a very threatening, very dangerous and scary time. But I was blessed, very blessed, because I had family to support me. I was a young mother, I wasn't even working at the time, and here I am today. So, you know, I rose above it, but it wasn't, you can't do it alone. It's not something you have to have support. You need a community. We need support. Otherwise, the danger, the threat, and the emotions and all the things connected to it. So that's my personal story. Outside of that, I am concerned about the fact that other women are experiencing this, and we need to address this as a scourge in our society. 1 in 3 women globally are impacted by gender-based violence, and in the Caribbean, the ratio is higher. So we want to raise the voice and the silence, because there's so much shame and embarrassment. And so if I show the face and say, I went through this, I'm not embarrassed, because it's not my fault. It's not a shame on me, you know? So I want women to know it's not your shame, but we as a society, we need to stand and back the women and take a stance to address this and find solutions. And after our last year's walk, where more than 1,000 people came out to say, stop the violence, end the silence, we're here again to more than double it.
Jamie, why is it important to get men and boys involved when it comes to advocating with gender-based violence?
Yeah, because gender-based violence, although it predominantly affects women and girls according to statistics, men and boys play a pivotal role, not only in the sense of being perpetrators, but even in the sense of being able to wield influence within the household, within the community, in a very positive way, to advocate and to stand up against something that's very negative, something that has far-reaching implications on everything from finances to mental health to physical health. And, you know, one of the things that the Directorate is very pleased with is the fact that IHO has consistently been developing innovative and impactful initiatives, because it can't just be one entity, it can't just be one person executing these initiatives. And so the fact that they are rolling out initiatives such as this walk and doing it in a very collaborative and cohesive manner, it will ensure that we're ultimately strengthening our institutional capacity to sustainably address issues like this.
So how do you plan to surpass last year's impact?
Well, we're already there nearly, in the sense that we have people really mobilized and people are registering. So we really want everyone to get on board and register, because, you know, we have early registration and you get the free t-shirts with the early registration. So we want, gender-based violence affects everyone, whether, you know, it's your sister, your friend, your family, your mother, you know, yourself possibly, hopefully not. But so we know that communities are really fired up about this, and no one expected us last year to be able to mobilize that many people. And now that we had the success of last year, we know that people now know that this is real. People, it matters to society. And people are energized to really want to make a difference and address this. So I'm very confident. And we're back on the road. We're going to have our performing artists. We already have the commitment from Claudette Peters, from Empress, from Menace to come on the road with us to support the cause. So we know we're going to really nail it.
One thing you mentioned about society and how they were shocked about the turnout. Do you think that we still have folks in society who are still shamed?
Yes.
And who are still worried about what people would say in society, especially men? Let me turn that to you, especially men.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, one of the things I've always said is that, quite frankly, gender-based violence is not a sexy issue. You understand? It's something that's seen as very dark. It's something that if you see it happening to your neighbor, to your family member, you have this approach of kind of seeing blind. I'm not going to get involved in man and woman business. That's the narrative that we have.
Or they take out a phone and record.
See? Exactly. To go viral.
Yeah.
But it's really, really, really of critical importance that we begin to destigmatize the issue and let it be something where you normalize going to that person that you see going through it and say, you know, these are the resources that are available. You know, I see you. Do you need help? And so, you know, initiatives such as this go a long way towards re-socializing our society to be more open and to ensure we create an environment more conducive to reporting and survivors being able to access help.
Well, let's talk about the shelter. Because the plan is there to establish a shelter.
That's our goal. So we really want, I mean, awareness and having community come out and you know, turn up and represent is really important. But we really want to show we're not just, we have walk, pun intended, we walk our talk. So we're trying to really move forward, and we are working with DoGA, working with the government, working independently so that we can start to move this along. We've already had a commitment of lease land to be able to start the process. We as an organization have put proposals forward. DoGA and Jamie, Mr. Saunders has helped us along the way in terms of getting lease land, and we planning a sustainable model so that it can be self-sufficient and self-reliant. So we are going to be talking more about this. We're in the stages of moving it forward. So we want the community to know when you come out and you have a voice and you turn up, it's being heard. You know, that's why if we, as a community, we need to come out for issues that matter to us, because when we do, that's how a difference can be made. So everyone out there, we want to see you.
Well, let's just pique their interest and tell them in the future what the shelter will provide for them.
Well, we're again in the early stages. So the design or the goal of the shelter would be to of course, provide safe housing. As Mr. Saunders said, you know, and he can speak to this, how many calls he gets with the women who have nowhere to go. Which I stress, like I had family support, but a lot of women, they don't have financial support or resources to be able to get away and to, you know, start a new life financially, emotionally. So the shelter, the goal of the shelter is to provide also essential services, not just housing, to be able to get women back on their feet and their families back on their feet. And so a shelter becomes a very complex but a very exciting opportunity for us to really develop something powerful.
And right now we're walking the walk so we can talk the talk.
Yes.
Now before we go, I want both y'all to leave a message for those folks who are being hesitant. They feel like, if I'm going to go to this march, they're going to say me get blow. Because you know how people say, oh, they're going to say this bang me. Lord, how am I going to do this? How can I, you know, I want you to leave a message. You can do it for the females, you can do it for the males. Because there are men out there who get them blow. Yeah. Let's be real. Yep. But because of, what was the nice word there, you know? Not peer pressure, the other word, because you know nobody mess with you, bring you down, the stigma, all them stuff. There's another word, but we'll find it. Yeah. So, Dr. Bird, you can go.
So, for all the women out there, for sure, we really want you to know that there is no shame. And if you are on the receiving end of anyone harming you physically, emotionally, spiritually, it's not your fault. You're not the one to blame. And you're coming out to represent means that you're supporting every woman coming out. You are supporting your sisters in Antigua and Barbuda and taking a stance for something that could impact you, impact other family members, your daughters, and also your sons. You want your sons to know that it is really important that they be men who respect women and create safety and well-being.
Jamie?
Yeah, so to all the men and boys out there, we have a duty to set positive examples for the younger generation, to ensure that it's a societal understanding that everybody has a right to live free from violence, and everybody can be vulnerable, male or female. And so as men and boys, it's important for us to set that example, to stand up for our women and girls, and even for each other as fellow men, to destigmatize issues when men face abuse as well. And if we work together collaboratively alongside with women, we'll have a more safe, inclusive, and empowered society.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here. We didn't give them the date.
Oh, March 8th. in Antigua mainland, March 8th, Botanical Gardens, 2 o'clock. Going to be amazing, just amazing. So everybody, please turn up. It's a great, inspiring, but positive and exciting and fun day too. So we take the stigma and we make it something that we can celebrate our empowerment.
And early registration.
Early registration, you can find us on Facebook, on Instagram, at our website, IHO-GBV.com. It's going to be on DoGA social media, Facebook, and social transformation. But certainly just hit us up on our social media, and you'll find us, and you can register. So register now.
Listen, folks, this is such an inspiring conversation about unity, awareness, and taking action to end gender-based violence. Remember, every step counts, and you can be part of the change by joining the walk on March 8th. Okay? Don't go anywhere. We got much more to kickstart your week right here on Antigua and Barbuda today.